Hi, Christie. How's it going?
Hey, Kathy. It's going well. I can't believe we're partway through November already.
I know.
I'm doing pretty good though. It's a little bit into November, but I feel like I'm doing pretty good with NaNoWriMo. I'm not
really. I'm so excited.
I'm not gonna do the 50,000 words. I'm not gonna get close to that, but I am trying to consistently write most days for an hour or two at least.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Have you been doing any writing?
I have been.
Good.
I have. Working on the consistency piece. That's
Okay.
the hard part. But it's been going. November's a good month. I always love this time of year. Kind of, I don't know. There's less going on at least for here. Less going on outside, so there's more time inside to get some stuff
I
done.
think honestly, I think it's the same everywhere, even though the weather is beautiful now and it is an outdoor time. Yeah. I mean, it's still, people still have to work. So,
Yeah, I do. Yes. Well, listen, I thought since as we are talking about NaNoWriMo and there's just a lot of conversation about writing, I thought it'd be a really good time to talk about journaling.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What do you think about that? Yeah.
That's a good idea. I'm not a big journaler, but
You aren't?
No. Are you? I bet you are.
I am.
I know it's so good, and I've been looking into it so much lately because it's so good for like mental health and I kind of feel like, okay, the writing I'm doing for my novel is sort of like a kind of journaling, because I do get some catharsis from that. But and occasionally I've tried different types.
Yeah, and I think that, given where you're at and what you're doing, it might change. I mean, I have several different forms of journaling that I do, and I think it just kind of ebbs and flows with where I'm at and what's going on. You know.
Give me an example.
Well, this is kind of embarrassing. I do write. I would say the most consistent part of journaling that I do is morning pages. Kind of the first thing I do, it's from Julie Cameron, I believe, is the person who kind of came up with this concept, and in the artist's way. And it's just kind of stream of consciousness writing first thing in the morning. And I do like that, and sometimes it's about maybe how the day before went, or maybe it's thinking about the day ahead. I have kind of refined that, and I think that's the most consistent thing I do is I used to write it longhand, but this is the embarrassing part. I can barely read my own writing.
I know that about you. Your handwriting is...
It's terrible.
I know. It's so funny because my notes will be just bad because I don't write enough down. And then I'll say, Kathy, can I see your notes? And you'll send them to me and I'll look at them and I'll be like, well,
that's not helpful.
She's a doctor maybe in another life.
Well, they say lawyers and doctors, they get pulled aside in school, right? And they're like, stop writing legibly. But so it got to the point where I was having a hard time reading my own notes. And so I started typing them maybe a year ago or so. And I really like it. So I put it in my Google Drive and I create... This is so anal.
Why is this? This sounds really good. I'm like getting excited about it.
It works for me. So I create a folder for each month. And then each morning I open a new document with the day of the month. And so I just put 1 for today. I put down 7 for November 7th as we're recording this. And then I just write my morning pages on that. It's just a lot easier way for me to go back and track it. And then a few times lately, I have wanted to revisit my notes. Like, hey, let's check in and see if I followed through and did the things that I'm journaling with myself about in 2 months or 6 months or a year. So then I actually go put it in my planner go back and look at that file. And it's just a real form of accountability that I've found.
So that was going to be my next question. Like, do you go back and read them, or is it just something to get it like off your chest?
In general, I don't. And so I kind of record when I want to. Most of it's a time thing. So sometimes I don't really want to revisit, some of the things, but they're there. And it's just a little more organized.
Well, I think that's also kind of good, because part of the thing that I think I think about, and maybe other people get nervous about in journaling with like stream of consciousness or personal things, whether you're trying to work something out, is somebody else reading it. You don't want 100%. Somebody else to read it. And also with all the crazy stuff that, goes on in our lives from time to time. I mean, I think about it like, okay, what if I don't come home and somebody's got to go through this stuff and they're going to read it? Oh, I know. So I was like, putting it on the computer in sort of like a, protected file, that would give you a little bit more freedom too, in my mind. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think it really matters though, because honestly, so either, nobody's going to care. And if they can read it, they're just going to be like, whatever.
No one cares.
But it's still, that's what happens. Yeah. And then also that is a good way of doing it too, because I think a lot of times I get held up thinking I've got to write well when I'm doing it. Like, this better be something profound that I'm writing down. And,
Yeah.
And so that
it's like,
makes me slow to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think mine varies from probably being really hard on myself sometimes, like really, disappointed with maybe I didn't follow through with the things I wanted to the previous day, versus real optimistic and kind of cheerleading myself on, versus making lists. I mean, a lot of times I'll start combining planning my day with my morning pages, and they kind of become just a giant to-do list.
Wow.
I don't know, but I do like it. I like that. It's also, I like the early morning situation, but I think no matter what time you wake up, it's just like it's like my first thing I do pretty much every day.
Yeah. And I think that that's what a lot of people do, and I think it's a good practice. I also have done it where I've done, just written something at the end of the day. I think that helps me when I'm trying to sleep. And another thing is like writing letters that I'm never going to send, to whoever or whatever that's churning through my brain.
I have never done that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'll do sometimes. So I guess that's a journaling, it's just write down, and I'll find the page, the wherever I wrote it on, and I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to file this away with whatever in case I ever want to remember, all the points I came up with, or all the, just to get it off my head.
Yeah. I bet that's really helpful, especially if you're working through something that's tough.
Yeah, because I mean, that's a lot of the problems that I have, with any kind of mental health problems with not sleeping. It's like going through things in my brain, especially when I get confronted with something towards the end of the day, which I hate, but you can't avoid it sometimes. And so then it's like, it kind of like overshadows all the great things you might have done for the 10 hours earlier. So just to get that out, and then maybe take it a step further, I should, say, okay, well, what good things happened? And that'll be on my brain before I go to bed. Either that or I just watch a Hallmark movie and...
Well, that's the same. I do have a journal that I always intend to end my day with. It's at my nightstand. And usually I fall asleep before I get to it, which is pathetic. But I also really do like to kind of review the day, but also really, that's when I try to do a gratitude journal practice.
Oh, yeah.
Where I try to, write down the things. And I try to, instead of, my health or my husband's health or Christie's health, I try to like really get granular. Like I enjoyed this conversation that we had during these 5 minutes, because when I started doing the gratitude journaling, I found that letting myself off the hook and not really focusing in, because kind of the big general stuff, like my family's love. And of course, we're all thankful for that, but that's not.
So, I think it is important, even if you just do one thing, to just make it like uber specific. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to you don't remember all the things you're grateful for every minute of the day. But if you write down that one thing, I mean, that would be something to look back at in the future.
Yeah, I think so too. Because, so much of going through our day is our mindset. You can have this same conversation and have this mindset or this mindset. And I do think focusing on what is positive is extraordinarily helpful. Mm-hmm. But it's a muscle, because I think as humans, we're so inclined to look at the negative. And it draws us. It's like that more spectacular, impulse. But we can force ourselves, I think, to focus on the good. I'm working on that.
You know what? There is also another thing too that that I've heard of people doing. Like, if you're not into writing, I guess, or something, is like a photo journal. So just taking a picture a day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess you could take a picture. You could take, it could be a selfie. It could be a picture of, something you see during the day that you really like.
I love that idea. I would find that to be very satisfying to look back on. Like we said, like revisiting and being like, oh, look, I did this thing today. And then this,
I probably would just do the same thing every day. Like, oh, look at this beautiful sunrise over the water.
I'm taking a walk.
I'm taking a walk. It is,
And I'm telling Kathy, look where I am. And Kathy's like, I'm in snow.
Oh, that snow looks beautiful too. And you have the beautiful trees and the nice, you have a lot of great nature around you as well.
We do. I love it. I have a classmate, I guess, who maybe she's just a little bit younger than I was. And I started seeing her like a daily photo journal post on Facebook. And I think during COVID, so I'd reached out to her. It was so nice to see her and just her daily life. And she had said that she started it as a way for her to stay in touch with her parents, so they knew what she was doing because she couldn't go see them. And then she's just continued it. And so now she has this beautiful, years-long, just every day, a picture in the life. And
oh, wow. Really that's really neat. Yeah. Now I'm starting to think I could do something like that, with long-distance friends or children.
Right.
My children,
Yeah. Yeah, I like
I'd be like, all right, send me a picture. My daughter does send me a lot of pictures, not a picture a day, but she'll send me whenever events happen. That really makes me happy. So,
it's funny because I just had a conversation with my kids this weekend. I get, how you get like a memory pops up, a photo memory pops up on your phone. Mm-hmm. I love those. And I often will send them on to the family like, oh, look what you guys were doing, Halloween, for example, 8 years ago or whatever. So that's interesting. Another thing that I can see doing would be an audio note to yourself, because I use voice memos in my phone a lot. And I have found lately in writing that I have been using dictation quite a little bit. I have gotten better at that, and I like it. And, I can see where maybe like the things I walk my dog every day. You take a walk every morning. I can see making a quick note to yourself every morning.
And that's a good idea, actually. I'm not real good at, I haven't been real good at doing notes like that, audio notes, or so I should talk to you about the specifics, because if you do it all the time, you probably have an easier way of doing it. But I have taken to when we have our podcasts and I'm trying to figure out the highlights, I'll be listening to it while I'm walking, and then I'll just say at minute whatever this happened at minute, so that, and it types it, and then I can even just copy it when I get home and just adjust, But anyway. Well, that was
such good. I know, such good ideas.
I know. I'm kind of getting inspired now. And then, of course, we do have our own journal. We have to remind everybody of that. Our Read Happy journal. Because we always knew that journaling makes you feel better. So,
well, I think the thing that's so great about the Read Happy Journal is that not only do you get to enjoy that book that you're reading, but then you get to look back on it, and then you've made future notes for yourself, which I do think, and I do use journaling for the books that I read for sure.
Yeah.
Because we forget otherwise.
Yeah, maybe we should put a little sale on that for the holidays, and people can.
Oh, I love the idea.
Yep, that's what we'll do.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Well, Cathi, it's been great talking to you. Now I'm inspired to go get out my journal that has like 3 pages written in it and put it on my bedside. And
Christie, we have some really good stuff coming up. We've got GOBRecs of the Book of the Month, Christmas Presents by Lisa Unger.
Oh yeah, we haven't told everybody that, but yes, we're gonna be able to talk to Lisa. So if you've got you got to get it, you got to read it, and then there we go, Christmas presents.
I love Lisa Unger, and I love this book, so that'll be really fun.
Yeah. So we have that. We do have an upcoming Corks in Conversation with Michael Ferris Smith.
Yep.
And he has not only one of our other GOBrecs from last episode, or one of the episodes recently.
Yeah.
Which, that's this book, Salvage This World. He also has a couple movies that just came out. They're streaming now. So it is going to be fun to talk to him. So
yes, it
lots
is.
to look forward to.
All good stuff coming up. Yep.
All right. Cheers.